This session is going to be a bit of a whirlwind tour of all the different technologies that I've used personally in the subsurface utility industry. So this vertical industry is sort of close to my heart. I used to do 3D modeling and civil 3D for the engineering companies I worked for. And so Builterra is really a response to some of the things that I didn't like about using Excel and paper and all these disconnected survey methodologies. So we are going to be going through, and I'll just click on the agenda here, some of the Builterra. If you're not familiar with Builterra, we'll kind of talk about that. A fair amount of civil 3D integration today, and time permitting, we'll be able to get some of these 3D models built as a demonstration for you, and see what it looks like in Navisworks and the InfoWorks product from Autodesk. So being a former Autodesk employee, this is sort of my strong suit. So anything you see here could be translated back to a Bentley GGN file if you wanted to convert it. But for today, we're going to look at the Civil 3D product. So let's get started, because it is a bit of a, like I said, a lot of technology going to be shown here in a second. Just to back up a bit, Builterra is we started off building a construction contract administration solution. So some of you may know what this is. Being from the SU world, your engineers doing construction management, this is what they're doing. So when we first built Builterra, this is what I wanted to build, being from the civil industry. And Builterra is really truly a civil engineering and infrastructure product. You won't see any cranes and buildings in our graphics. We're looking at all of the linear or horizontal infrastructure that's built today. So right from all the way back to CAD and connecting with Civil 3D, this is, like I said, this is my background here, 25 years in design, and moving that data all the way through to construction and as-built GIS here. So we are sort of that missing piece that Excel is being used for in many companies. But today we're going to look at what we call the ecosystem. And what we found is that our customers using Builterra for construction are finding that it's also good for example, land development inspections. It's good for environmental, specifically geotechnical. So we have applications built for borehole logging and compaction testing already. We're doing bridge inspections in the structural world. And today we're going to look at the subsurface utility vertical. Again, a lot of interesting stuff going on here. All of our data is geospatial, so exporting to Esri is kind of the point. So a lot of our data will move to Excel and Word and PDF and shapefiles. If you're looking to have sort of a better accuracy on your cell phone versus just the cell phone, then you'll want to hook up an antenna. We already integrate with the Trimble Catalyst. For SU work, you be best suited to actually use a survey instrument. So, and then merge the data afterwards, which we'll talk about. All right. So the Builterra workflows that we're going to look at right now are largely a cloud-based mapping tool that does not require Esri, does not require an installation of any kind. And this is why we're seeing that Builterra is becoming the choice for engineering companies over GIS, is because we can very quickly come up with data entry forms, get them going in the field, and then immediately use them in AutoCAD or any kind of report writing. Okay, so let's keep going here. So the online project, this means all of the data is collected using your cell phone or a tablet, and then the data, we're going to be doing something with it. We're going to be collecting geolocated photos, any kind of form data, top of the test pit, utility, manhole inverts, literally any data collection you want. You can use it just like any other Forms app. But then the important part is we want to be able to do something afterwards. And this is what we're going to talk about today. And this is why a lot of people are coming to us versus using GIS. You know, a point in space is great, but, you know, can you print off a nice report, you know, or can you import it into your CAD model? So this is sort of the concept of GIS, where you have one true data source. And what we're doing is applying the Builterra platform to each type of person in the organization. So it's got a little bit for everybody. And this is the same kind of workflows that we have in the construction management piece. So we know that people are going to want to do progress payments. They're going to want to do bid management and all these other things. In the SUIT world, it's really not much different, other than the data being collected is related to subsurface utility versus, say, construction management. So this is really important to see this, because lots of people want to touch that data. And when you use spreadsheets, you're really limited to, you know, that same old where you're using file servers and managing photos and retyping data into CAD or GIS. So the general field inspection, I was going to do live demo, but by the time I get done my PowerPoint today, I could see that I have a lot of content. So we can always go offline, do another one-on-one with you and show you the mobile app. Our mobile app is very, you know, has purpose in mind. As you can see, quite sterile. Our business is not about fancy mobile applications and, you know, trying to provide a beautiful looking product. Basically, we want to collect data, and we want to do it so somebody from the age of, you know, 20 to 65 can do it. So we're not looking to make things complicated. And the Builterra app has been widely adopted from any type of person, no matter their technical ability. So that was our number one thing, is to build it super easy and really powerful. So when you select the daylighting report here, this is one of our many reports that you can configure yourself, or we'll configure for you. But basically, you can have anything you want: health and safety, manhole inverts, test pits, literally anything, culvert and bridge inspection. Picking the project, easy from the scroll list, or because it's everything's geolocated, you can select the target button. You'll literally get located on the project itself. And then, as simple as creating a new inspection, you're into the forms of that test pit now. So as you can see on the bottom, real simple menu system. It gets the location, the weather. If you've got Civil 3D, we're one of the only mobile apps in the world that allows you to upload Civil 3D alignments, and Builterra mobile app will read that alignment and place it based on the cell phone's accuracy. So again, if you're doing a 4 or 5 mile project, it's a really great way to get station and offset on your points, just as a general location. You won't find that in any Autodesk product on the market. It's very accustomed to what we do. The mapping system looks just like a GIS kind of data collection app. We can, if you've got inspections in the area, they will show up in the map. If you've got shape files that are uploaded to the project, they will also appear in the map. So very nicely laid out. You can then start collecting data. So the data collection piece is the same for every kind of form. It's not like a form fill PDF type style, Bluebeam type thing. This is very much data collection at its core. Think about filling in an Excel spreadsheet and hitting the submit button. So you're collecting field data. Notice that I've got northing, easting, and ground, and you know, we're just going to add that to the form, but there's going to be no data. If you actually did want to collect that information and type it in, then you can do that. But I'm going to show you that there's a survey merge feature that allows us to actually merge this data with an accurate GPS survey. So that's a pretty huge in the subsurface market. So you can collect all this data. In this case, it's just single form of details. We've got customers using pages of details, you know, all kinds of different pages. And then we've got also subtable data. So we've got a customer using it for CCTV pit inspection, where they want to do pre-construction photo, construction photo, and post-construction photo, all on the same point. So you're not going to get that in a GIS where you have multiple table data all connected to the same geo point. So Builterra is built for that kind of user, and engineering users are really our customers, essentially. Taking photos, we can take photos, you can add photos from at any time, you can mark up photos and dimension them. You can even take a screenshot of the Google map and put in like a tie down photos. These are all available in the app. And then once you've taken that information, you can submit it to the Builterra server. If you're using Bluebeam or any kind of markup tool, I mean, that's fine, but we do have a PDF markup tool as well. So any PDFs attached to the project can be accessed here. So great way to add a snapshot of, say, a drawing to your inspection. So lots of flexibility with that, and at a fraction of the cost. So I don't know what you're paying for Bluebeam, but this is going to be better for you ultimately. Test pit mapping. So this is our portal itself, and we'll go live in a second to show you one of these sample projects. It is basically, everything's geolocated based on the phone's lat and long. The unique capability of Builterra means we can actually attach a UTM system or any kind of projection to the project, and then those pins, if a northern and easting has been filled in, will actually move to the actual survey shot. So very much like a GIS. So you can kind of have this approximate cell phone location, or you can have an actual survey location as the data location here. So really cool. And that's super important because all of this data will go into the AutoCAD Civil 3D model when we're completed. Okay, so the structures mapping, you know, I was mentioning we do manholes. So a lot of our customers who do subsurface utility engineering also do manhole inverts and chamber inspections and literally any kind of underground type work. Looking to have GPR as part of the form entry here as well, and possibly more and more locate type forms. So it is a flexible database. You can add whatever you want. Theming the points is super important. You know, a basic color scheme for, say, utility type or structure type. That's very much like a rudimentary GIS where you can change those theming colors. So all of the inspections are here in the lower left. All of the data collection is done. You can see in this case we have multiple pages for the inverts because the person wanted to collect all of the inverts on a single form, and we broke it up to make it easy for them. So every single photo that you select is all independently geolocated. So if you're taking 4 and 5 photos on site, you have your own corporate iCloud. So every single inspector using Builterra, the photos are automatically submitted to the cloud. The project manager sitting back in the office, they can literally zoom around the world and check for photos, and from anything. Could be a structure inspection, could be a test hole, GPR, whatever you want. The photos are like a breadcrumb to the original project data. This is something we did for one of our clients who's rolled out Builterra across North America in 45 offices. So that one client is doing about 2,000 test holes a day in Builterra. Everything you've seen here, and this is all completely automated. The reporting is bespoke to what the client wants to show. And even the schematic here is completely generated in AutoCAD. We have AutoCAD running on the server that can produce schematics, drawings. We work with you to automate this process, and you'll see some of that automation today. I am speeding this presentation up a little bit just because we want to do a little bit of live demo. So I want to give you a sense of the product before I do that. So custom metadata reports is kind of our thing. They're affordable. We make sure the client is happy. So if you don't like the map here and you want bigger photos or a different looking schematic, we completely customize this. And then it's for you corporately. So everybody can do the data the same way. Same thing with drafting. Spending better part of my career doing AutoCAD automation. You know, this is a dream come true for me. I can now access data directly from the cloud to produce literally any CAD automation here. So, you know, Autodesk and other vendors are, you know, they have tools that will do this in Civil 3D, but if we can automate, you know, this type of work, and you'll see that in a second, it makes life so much easier for the users. You're not doing a lot of post-processing, and that's where we work with you. Okay, so we'll build custom menus. We do the drafting support. Okay, so this is the other big piece here is all of the data collected can be externally shared to your clients, whether that be an engineering company or the actual owner, utility owner. You can give them access to the data directly through this external users option here, and that they'll literally have a view download capability to your data. And you can put a toggle on that says only post the inspections unless the inspection has been approved. So we have a full approval and workflow system as well with Builterra. So this is great for those cities who have requested, you know, a few hundred test holes and utility, and they can literally download their own reports or access the data if they had to. Engineers using this for their own design can just literally download the app we have for AutoCAD and import the test holes automatically from the cloud. So all kinds of really great connectivity here. All right, and this is just the basic report. This is out of the box. We haven't customized this. And because it was a construction company, we were, for this project, they were completely happy with the out of the box solution. And so the data collected here, location map, and full-size photo. So this is like free. You don't have to pay us to do that. It's completely free, that report. And integration with AutoCAD Civil 3D. So what I wanted to do today is spend, you know, some time looking at in, you know, real time this integration that I've built up for actual projects. We're going to look at a project that I was involved in and use that data set as our sort of testing ground. So like I said, I have a lot to go through, but and it's all kind of live and put together for you guys. Love to get your opinion of what I've done, but I think you'll be impressed with the way we can connect to data and bring it in and build a model. So start with a base map. I mean, this looks pretty familiar to you all. It's a 2D, maybe level D, level C, looking to do test holes and build this data set up into a 3D model. So that's kind of the goal here. And that 3D model is great for Clash and other things, but the other thing is we want to be able to produce profiles and sections that are meaningful to the utility companies for them to do their own design. So the big part of what we're doing here is making the data more intelligent for the utility companies. So subsurface mapping, that's the first step, and then test holing. Getting a survey, an existing ground survey, is very important because we want to know, you know, the ground elevation of every shot, and we need to know the depths. So very important that the survey be done prior to the test holing, and then you can go ahead and do depth measurements and merge the data afterwards. So that's kind of how we did it in this project. So this is all Civil 3D. The base utility line work. So this was, for me, this is where we kind of get a start on all of the existing utilities. So all these layers of data were what was modeled for this particular project. And so we had a really good subsurface utility mapping from T2, I think at the time, and there's some of it right there. So it was really well labeled, completely 2D, and you know, test pits were to follow, kind of thing. So the workflows in Civil 3D, and this is just sort of my workflow, and this is what this webcast is all about today, is just to kind of see how I used to do it and how Builterra fits in. So when we look at the test pits, we're going to import those into plan. We're going to build up these utility alignments, create some profiles, and then generate a 3D model. So this is kind of like the step program. And even though this job I'm looking at is, say, 12 kilometers or say 10 miles or 9 miles long, if you put this into an assembly line process, you can actually do a fair amount of modeling in a very short amount of time. And you'll get a sense for that in a second. All right, so let's go live to Builterra, just the web, so you can see what the portal looks like, because I really haven't shown that much. And just move my screens over here. Okay, so this is the Builterra product. If we kind of go to the front page, and as you can see, we talk a lot about contract administration, mostly because, quite honestly, we've been very busy with the contract admin or the construction management part of the product. About 80% of our customers are civil engineers delivering infrastructure projects, and about a quarter of those are doing it for vertical applications like geotech, subsurface utility, bridge inspection. So it's becoming a fan favorite for the engineering community beyond just construction. So if I take a look at the projects here, this is it. There's no install. Every project is listed. We've got a searching and grouping. If I look at, say, utility project 3, that's going to be our test for today. We can overlay shape files here as much as we want. We can add documents to the project for the guys in the field, any custom search details for reporting, etc. So this is the platform. So really easy to get in there and create a new project. The inspection piece itself, here's the little portal menu here. We can go right to the inspections, and these are, again, all of your inspection data, and there's a map of all your projects right here. So you can pick on, say, the utility here, and then these purple forms are basically the data, and you can group it on any one theme. In this case, the test pit data is grouped on utility type, which is a nice choice, obvious choice for most people. Okay, and you can kind of zoom in and see this data. So the thing about this data is each and every point was surveyed by the surveyor, Subsurface Utility Mapping Company. So the UTM point there of this bell shot is accurate, because what we do is we tell, I forgot to show that in the project, but we actually tell the project to use a certain UTM or a projection. And then if there's a northing and easting or whatever field you assign as the coordinates, then automatically geo translate yourself to that spot. So you can immediately kind of, so if I wanted to say, look at all my gas shots, those are accurate. Those are survey accurate right from the survey point file. And that's super important because we want to be able to model this quickly in AutoCAD. So if I take a look at some of my inspection data, here we go. There's our location data here. This is a 2-page report with utility, very simplistic stuff. It's a 150 circle. Another shape is important because we want to be able to depict that in the CAD processing as well. And there's your photos. So in real time, every project manager in your firm would be able to access data through the mapping system, no installation or IT required. It's all on the Microsoft Azure cloud. Really handy. All of the data can be instantly downloaded to shape files here. You can download all of the data to Excel. So if I clicked on that button, it literally produces an Excel spreadsheet of all of the data. CSV is how I merge it with survey file data. So if you have the northings and eastings coming later, you can merge it. And so it's a lot of great tools there. Okay. If we look in AutoCAD, and we're going to talk about this, projecting the data, getting it into AutoCAD. First thing we're going to do here, let me just go back to my AutoCAD screen. Sorry about that. All right. Okay. So if I set up a brand new drawing, say set up a brand new drawing, just your basic drawing here. So what we can do is there is a little application that we built a couple years ago. Icons are here, import the data, upload the Civil 3D alignments to the project, and that's about it for right now. So these are the right out of the box generic tools. So what the cool part about this is when you log into the project, second here. So this is literally loading the, we're going into the cloud now. Number of passwords. Okay, so there it is there. So it's, when I pick projects, here they are here. So it's literally grabbing it from the Azure cloud now, and we can grab any data we want. Not just the test bits, but maybe structures, you know, maybe anything, locate logs. So if I pick test bit data, it literally downloads now the data and into the memory right now. So there's 2,100 test bits just in a few seconds there. So when you want to import it, you can put in layer name. You can say, well, I want to put it on any one of these form properties. So you can say, I want to use the elevation, and I want to use, say, the utility type as my layer suffix. So very much like a CAD option here. You can import it as a block or as a Civil 3D point, or you can use a block that's already in the system right here. So it'll, as long as the block names match, it will fill in the block names, and we'll look at that in a second. So let's just turn off that. And if I went ahead and created all these points and import, oh, sorry about that, auto create, import. So this will literally bring in the 2,100 points in their geolocated survey spot with all of the attribute data. So this is kind of, you know, something that you can do seconds after the guys are done the project. There's no files to mess with, nothing like that. So it's bringing it in right now, the 2,000 points, and there it is. So if I close this down and I zoom extents, there's a whole bunch of data with every single attribute, not very good looking. So what we want to do is change this so it maybe looks like a little bit better point. So what we can do is do the insert, put in, I don't have a template set up. I normally would have that set up. So we have a TP data right here. This is something, if we take a look at it, it has just the data I want, and these attributes will match the Builterra data form. So when you zoom into it, it looks a little nicer. So you can customize the block itself. And then when you redo the import, oh, sorry about that. Okay, remove. All right, log that in. So we'll just grab that again one more time, and we pick the test pit. So this time we can pick, say, the block with attributes, but now we're going to use an existing block called, you know, TP data. That's our custom custom one. And instead of using the elevation, we can say use the top elevation here that's been set up in the form. So you can go ahead and bring it in, import it, and of course it'll bring it in nice and tidy. And it'll only use the attributes that are in the existing block. So if you just want the conflict ID, just a little marker, then it's done. We can also customize this import. So if you have a very specific looking MTEX label or some kind of style, we can do that too. So you can zoom in and have a nicer looking label. And of course, it's all layered, you know, on the right utility type layer. So if you want to isolate, say, the bell layer, there's all your bell right there. So you can imagine you bring it in directly from the portal into CAD in a few seconds. So that's just like the bare minimum requirement right there. So let's go back to our PowerPoint because I tend to get off a little bit on stuff. And okay, yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so the thing is, we want to bring those test bits in, and we want to convert, say, the existing 2D line work to what we call utility alignments. So the utility alignments means that we can actually test the depth that we can plot the top of the profile, the top of the utility into the alignment profile. So that's where I'm going to show you in a second here. And then we can also start bringing in any crossings. And this is more of a custom app that I won't show you today, but we've done a lot of post-processing around this type of work. So bringing in the test bit data is kind of like the first step. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and bring in some actual projections here. So if we go back to, say, our brand new drawing, erase. Okay, so what I want to do is I've already got a shortcut, and I don't want to turn this into a Civil 3D session because we only have a limited amount of time. But I have an existing ground, I have a future ground, and I have some alignments from the road design and other things here. So what I want to do is I bring in the, I mean, this is if you're not into Civil 3D, then I apologize, but this is sense. Let me just start a brand new drawing, so it'd be easier. Sometimes live demos, eh? Okay. Here, close that. Okay. All right. So let's just do a brand new drawing, and looking good. Okay, and we'll bring in our surface right here, the OG. Create the reference, and there we go. And zoom extents. So there's our existing ground model. Okay, survey. We don't really need our design just yet. Under the alignments, we'll just bring in our design profile. So there's a whole bunch of profiles that are previously defined by the engineer. So we'll go ahead and bring in the road profile. So there we have the basis of our project. Okay, good. Let's take a look at this. The other thing I want to do is XREF in quickly the actual 2D mapping right there. So this is the subsurface utility mapping here, and we're just going to externally reference that just to take a quick look at what we're want to do here. So the intention is it's a very busy project, by the way, and so what I want to do is I want to isolate and map the water main, because we can do gas, we can do the hydro, but let's work on the water main because it's a nice, easy, linear type feature, and it's got a diameter, super easy to model. So let's go ahead and build that 600 in the next 5 or 6 minutes. That's the whole point here. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to bring in the actual. We have to isolate this layer and make it its own drawing. So I already did that, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and save this as my demo profiles. And we're going to come back to this in a second. So the demo profiles. So if I open up to the existing water main polylines, these are all of the polylines that I extracted out of the subsurface utility. So you want to do that for each feature. And this is our 600 water main right there. So these are all just regular polylines in AutoCAD. And the idea is we want to make each and every one of these little wee lines an alignment and profile, because what we're going to do is build a 3D model from that information, you know, as we build up the project. So we could use Civil 3D here. We could say create an alignment from, you know, objects, but there's a heck of a lot of objects and it's not really efficient to do that. So what we do is we take this data and we can just copy it to, I always like to do this, by the way, a nice clean version of it. Enter. And I'll just slip back to my demo profiles here. And I'm just going to quickly paste that to the original coordinates because, so what happens is it's come in now and let me go down to my 600 down here. And there's the actual object in this drawing right there. And I want to turn that into an alignment. So if I go ahead and save the drawing, I can then use, say, tools that you can get from us. There's a bunch of custom tools that I've written to take care of some of these issues, right, of productivity. So for example, multiple alignments from polylines. Can't get any easier than that. This is the existing water main. And we'll make sure we do caps because I'm fussy. Okay, so the existing water main is the prefix, and literally you just pick everything like this. And we will remove the centerline road, but all of these polylines are going to be turned into alignments. So it can do that in really a few seconds. Like it literally just created it like over 115 alignments, and there they are right there. And all of these are now the water main alignments, right? So if I look at the alignment style, I can just literally say this is the water, existing water, and I can display those as blue. This is just Civil 3D, by the way, so we can go ahead and pick that and say turn off that alignment. Okay, looking good. So apply and say okay. So now it's a nice blue line that's actually an intelligent alignment for all of that existing subsurface mapping. So when we take that, we can then say, okay, let's create some surface profiles because we're going to need that as well. So you can pick the existing ground surface. You can say, well, this is the OG surface, okay? And again, you're going to go and just select all of these things, enter. So all of this can be done out of the box with Civil 3D, everything I'm showing you, but I've just literally batch processed this using some VBA because I'm in my 50s. So there's some nice stuff. There's the water main, good to go. So we're getting there. So within 1, 2, 3 moves, I can start my modeling. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of these and I'm going to make some views. So these views are just like that. I made 115 profile views. I hope nobody from Autodesk is watching this because they'd be like, oh my God, it's awesome. So I like a nice smaller vertical, so I can go ahead and 5 like that. And this is all dynamic. If you're not familiar with Civil 3D, then definitely it's worth your while to look into it. This long one, number 99, is our 600, by the way. And I can see it's a little low here, so I'm going to change the profile view properties, and I'm going to set up a little lower, style here so I can get some of this underground stuff to show. So this is the model which we're going to work on right now. And it is 12:40. I've been at it a couple of minutes and I've already got 115 odd alignments already built. So I'm going to go ahead and save. So the next step is I want to show all of my test bit data into this profile because I really want to start my modeling. So what I can do is I can go back to our AEC inspect tool here. First, I'm going to put in a smaller bit of data because right now I've got it running off of block data, and this is just the process I have right now. And so what happens is I can insert this, and this is going to show all of the only data I really need to show in my profile is right there. So I've literally just put in a custom block. Okay, call it TP profile block. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to import that data that you've already seen. We're going to do that one more time. Okay. Yep. So, and then we're going to pick the project and go ahead and pick the test pit again. And we're going to do a block with attributes, the existing block. And we're going to pick the that TP profile data right there. And again, we're going to do it on C data, dash something like this for. And then this time though, I want to make sure we use the top elevation, top of utility. And we're going to definitely make it based on utility type. And then we go ahead and import it. So this is sort of our raw data for the projections. And everything I've showed you other than those batch tools is pretty much out of the box Civil 3D. There is a way, again, to project blocks to the profile, but again, you have to do them one at a time. And so I don't like to do that. So we've got a couple of routines as well to help with that. So everything you're seeing, you can buy from us, or we can customize it for you. So what it's done is it's imported this data. And if we look at, say, there's a water shot right there. So I can say set current on that guy, and right there, and I can change my layer color to 150 or something. There you go. So there's all my water shots. And if I go ahead and look at all those water test pits, there they are. So some of those alignments you might want to actually move it over. Maybe it's off the money a little bit, right? So this is where you get to adjust your data as well. You can actually start adjusting this data, and because it's an alignment, all of this data is parametrically changing as well. So as you move that alignment, change it, modify it, this grid will change. So what I want to do now is project all of these water shots into my alignments. So we have a routine in for tools, and this stuff gets built, as we need it. I can project test pits into utility profile. So when I pick that guy, and I pick the existing ground surface, because that's important right there, and then it says here, pick the sample test pit. So I can actually grab this sample water test pit right there. As I only want to take water test pits because I don't care about the other 1,500 test pits. And that says pick the alignments to process. Well, really, I want to do all of my alignments. I don't want to do just this one. I want to do all of the test pits. So what happens is I can say everything within a 0.3 meter buffer, like a plus or minus offset from each alignment, I want to depict that in this model. And you can see what's happening here is I did this for fun, where it looks like it's really doing something here. So this is the kind of stuff that Builterra and the guys here, this is what we do for people. Selling a mobile app and a website, that's great, but it's good to be able to have this kind of automation already go. So if I look back at my water main, there is my water main test pits projected successfully into, and look at the data here. This is mtext. I've customized that a little bit, but it grabs it right from the block, projects it, and then puts a little point right where the top of that utility is going to be. So within a few minutes, it's 12:45. You've just witnessed about 6 minutes worth of work to do 4 kilometers worth of data. So we've got this projection happening for the water main data. So this technically could be the water main model right here. So you'd want to have one of these drawings for each one of utility types: gas, fiber, bell. You'd want to be able to have that all set up. So if I go ahead and save now, what I'm going to do is see, some of these labels are hard to read. We even got a little stagger because I was tired of, this is the kind of stuff, it's fun to be able to automate in CAD, because then you can actually draft it and then present it and plot it, and everybody's happy. So just this little bit of work is like crazy efficient. And that's just AutoCAD automation right there at its best. So these are all your water shots for this thing. So if I want to do a 3D model for this, all I have to do is put in a profile for my top of the utility. So I'm just going to use out of the box Civil 3D again. And so I can go to here and create a profile, just regular Civil 3D, and say create profile creation tool. So click this, and I can say, well, it's the existing water main 99. You know, this is just randomly generated type stuff. There's the top, and I don't care about labels, and it looks good. And I can just, and so what I'm doing is I'm manually, you know, as the human involved, I'm kind of making decisions now. I mean, this is, some people would argue, well, how do you know in between it's level A and all this stuff? Well, you know, honestly, this is where the human brain comes into it, and you can, within a few minutes, do this. And by the way, I didn't want to show you this, but I actually have a routine that does all this too. But I didn't want to completely overwhelm you. So I have a routine that will build these instantly for every profile based on the buffer range. So that's the bonus pack that we can talk about if you are interested. So what happens is I've just built, and I blew that one, but I put the O-snap on, and I'm literally digitizing the top of my, right from a mobile phone. Imagine if the guy calls you and says, hey, I just finished the thing, we got to get this job out by the end of the day. I literally did about 1 mile of water main, and I can probably spend the rest of the afternoon doing the rest of the water main. And then over, say, if I had 6 utilities to do, I can do about 3 miles of utility in about less than 3 to 4 days, if I was just one person. But you could even have like 3 people work on this. So the cool thing is I just built this profile. And if I look at the profile, let's just, there it is, the existing water main top. This is important to remember. So it's 1248. I haven't quite done this in 5 minutes, but let's build a 3D model of this, and then we'll look at it real quick in Navisworks. So there's our utility profile. How are we going to build a 3D model from this? Well, this is kind of a what you call a hack, but it's awesome. And because I did a lot of road design, we can do what you call a corridor over this. So I can say, let's build an assembly, and I'm just going to do it from scratch because it's quick. So I'm going to say this is a water main 600, or you know something, any 600 pipe right there. And you say okay, and you put it in. So there's what you call an assembly. And I was playing around with this thing called trench in a pipe. It's an out of the box. These are all the different types of things that the guys in engineering use to build water or build roadway projects. So I can immediately go to trench in a pipe here, and let me just put this properties here. And all this stuff I can train your guys by. There's no trouble. I haven't a problem with the property window. So we'll go to trench in a pipe, and we'll put that in, and you can see that looks like a trench with a pipe. Looks pretty cool. But the problem is we don't care about the trench. So what we're going to do is get rid of that trench. So what we're going to do is we're doing a top center, because that's the center. This target is the top of our utility. And so basically the bottom width is going to be, you know, 0.1. You can't put 0 in there. And the top width is 0.1. Okay. The bedding depth is going to be 0.1. Okay. And say it's going to be a 0.6 pipe thickness. Oh, sorry about that. We don't care about thickness, 0. If you want, you can put in 0.1. Okay. Pipe diameter is 0.6. And so what happens is it's sort of, you're building this pipe without the bedding piece. And we'll just take a real quick look at that again. I hope I didn't screw that up. So the bottom width, top width, the depth, top center bedding 0.6. You can make it minimal, and that pipe will now show up in the model a certain way. So how are we going to do that? So if you take a look at the corridor, we can build the existing water main corridor, which could have 1 or more water mains in it. We're just going to build 1 now. and we're going to pick the existing 199. You can pick that from a list or on screen, but 99 is the one. We're going to pick the top profile right there, and we're going to pick the 600 pipe. And so you say okay, and it literally builds it from start to finish. And you know, from here to here, and you can, the alignment probably didn't go all the way, so we'll just say it's 1,000 meters or something, okay? And frequency of, say, every 5 meters, we want a nice little point, and say okay, and say okay. So what happens is it builds this now, and if you go to here, under the, where's the 600 right there, I can see that now. So it's building this object viewer, and that's just the corridor right now. So what you have to do is there's an extract solids button here. So when you extract the solids on that, you say all regions, and we're almost at our timeline here. So we say all regions, and you can grab all this data and just say next, and we're gonna, in this case, we're just gonna insert it in the current drawing and extract the solids. So what happens is it takes all of that water main and it creates literally the 3D model, and it's dynamic. So that means if you move or change your mind on the profile or whatever, you get more test pit data. So when I do this, it's literally building up the model, and I can add twin pipes. I was hoping I'd have time today to show all that, but you can add any shape and style to this utility model. And so it's just zooming there now. So the cool part is you can start extracting this for 3D clash detection. So it's 1254. I'm gonna probably show you right now sort of what these models look like in Navisworks. Let's see if I can fire that up. So Navisworks you can just append the drawings now, so we can look at, say, import the test bits models. This is an example of what I had worked on yesterday, just to give you guys a sense of the model itself. So this is a 3D inspection tool. Sorry about that. Okay. So this is the actual project here once all of the modeling has been done, and you can see the water mains, all of the corridor modeling from profile is all here. And if you export the files, because this is made up of several what we call models, drawings and models. So for example, the water main here, right there, this is the proposed or existing buried water main right there. See a highlighted blue? So these are all separate data sets that are in this federated model. So you can take all of that and then immediately go to clash, and you can do, say, a clash on this model. So you can say, you know, compare, say, add a test. You can say it's, you know, existing water versus proposed drainage or something like that. And so hit enter. And so this is pure Navisworks now. You can say, okay, let's grab all of our existing water model here. So right there, design water. So it looks like the existing is right there. That's what they wanted. And you want to compare it to your proposed drainage right there. So you can grab the proposed right there. So when you run the test, it produces, in this case, 3 clashes. So that's what we're after here. This is more than what, you know, this isn't just, again, about the mobile app, is when you click on these clashes now, see the water is the existing water model conflicts here. So you might want to put in a test hole or check it at those points. And if you want to know where those points are, you can produce a report. So everything is coming out here, and you can go ahead and do a quick report, and it will show you all of those clashes in a nice report format. So we're at the top of the hour, and I could have probably gone on for another hour and slowed down. But the message here is that we can do what you need to do to get these jobs done, work with you. and turn those mobile data collection exercises into something that's pretty spectacular for your underground projects. All of the test pit data, this is actually, again, all of those little cones are the test pits that I showed you, and I just modeled them in 3D using some of the automation. So let's get back to, I just want to show you my, my contact information here, because like I said, there's a lot going on here with, yeah, and I'll just bring it back to here. And so if you want to contact us for a demo, and you request to do a one-on-one to see how we can help your organization, just give us a call, and we can help deliver the data collection piece, the custom drafting, custom reporting. That's what we're doing here in Canada, and love to help you guys out with your subsurface work. So again, a lot of content. I want to open it up for questions. If you have it, type it in the chat window. Otherwise, I'll shut down the recording and then we can talk offline.